So I wanted to come on here and talk about this Bruce Schroeder. And let me just say this. If this isn't getting on code, I don't know what is. Now, in case y'all don't know who this is, Bruce Schroeder is the judge in Kenosha, Wisconsin, who is presiding over the Kyle Rittenhouse case, in which he is currently on trial for right now. And I already see what they're trying to do. They want Kyle to walk, and not even walk. Like I said on Twitter, they want him to skate up out of that damn courtroom with no priors. So if y'all are unaware, and I'm sure by now, by the time this video gets uploaded, you'll be aware. So Bruce Schroeder, the judge, has said that he, or the prosecutors who are on the side of the men that were killed and the one who was badly injured, he said that the men that were shot by Kyle Rittenhouse cannot be called victims, but they can be called rioters and looters. Because to call them that would mean that Kyle Rittenhouse was valid in what he did, because they've been trying to build up this whole self-defense thing for Rittenhouse since the beginning. Since the beginning, like they've been wanting to get this dude to walk from the get-go. And this is another way they're doing it. And they know this also reminds me of the underhanded tricks that they're doing with the what is the case down there in Georgia with the McMichaels. That's what they're doing down there. That's what they're trying to do with Ahmaud Arbery, where they said, oh, he's only allowed to have one picture in the trial, but it can only be a picture with him by himself. It can't be a picture of him with family, because they can't make him appear to be this innocent person, basically trying to put a dead man on trial, but on trial as the perp and not as the victim. They did the same thing with Trayvon Martin. They do it a lot with a lot of black victims. What makes this one different is that none of the victims are black. All three of them are white, just like Kyle Rittenhouse. So I always say that there are rare instances where white people will get on code for other white people to get other white people off if they feel that they want to let them walk. In this case, is a perfect example of that. And the thing is, when you think about it, it still has a connection to Jacob Blake, because that's the whole reason this whole thing really went down, was because of the Jacob Blake shooting, which, by the way, the one who shot him in the back and put him in the wheelchair for the rest of his life, he's back on the job. So it's all connected. So when a lot of people say that, oh, this is white on white crime, yeah, it is, because of who's involved. But the link to this happening was from a black man being shot in the back multiple times, causing him to be paralyzed from the waist down. So there's your link. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from NBC News, posted October 26, 2021. The three men Kyle Rittenhouse shot during a protest against police brutality in Wisconsin can be labeled rioters, looters, or arsonists if the teenagers' defense teams has evidence to support the characterizations. But they shouldn't be called victims, the judge in his murder trial ruled this week. That basically makes it harder for the prosecutors to do. So the prosecutors, they got to pull a whole rabbit out of their hat to find, or to convince the jury to find Kyle Rittenhouse guilty on the crimes in which he is being charged with. The decision was among the ground rules Kenosha County Judge Bruce E. Schroeder set Monday for the trial, which is expected to begin November 1st. Rittenhouse, age 18, was charged with homicide and attempted homicide after he fatally shot Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber and wounded Gage Grosskreutz in Kenosha during protests that followed the shooting of Jacob Blake, a black man, by a white police officer. He has pled not guilty to all charges and is free on bond. Rittenhouse, who was 17 at the time of the shootings, used a semi-automatic rifle that resembles the made for the military AR-15. He has said that he went to the demonstrations on August 25, 2020 to help protect businesses from looters when he was attacked, and that he acted in self-defense. Assistant District Attorney Thomas Binger had asked the judge to prohibit the defense from describing the men who were shot with pejorative language. On Monday, Schroeder reiterated his reportedly long-held policy against allowing the word victim in his criminal trial until there is a conviction. He said the word is loaded with prejudgment. Binger, the prosecutor, argued that the words rioters, looters, and arsonists are loaded, if not more loaded than victim. You've not let me call someone a victim when it was proven, he told Schroeder. Binger said that whatever the three men were up to before they were shot had nothing to do with their confrontations with Rittenhouse and his decision to open fire. He argued that Rittenhouse had not seen the three do anything criminal when he shot them. Binger did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Attorneys for the families of the three men who were shot did not respond either. Gross Cruz, who has not been charged with a crime, sued the city, the county, and law enforcement this month, alleging that Kenosha officials enabled a band of white nationalist vigilantes during the protest. A spokesperson representing the city and a police department declined to comment. An attorney representing Kenosha County and the sheriff labeled the allegations as false. The lawsuit also fails to acknowledge that Mr. Grosskreutz was himself armed with a firearm when he was shot, and Mr. Grosskreutz failed to file the lawsuit against the person who actually shot him, said the lawyer Sam Hall. So there you have it right there. So we know who the judge is, and we know what he tried to do, or he's trying to do. So the trial is getting ready to begin. It'll be in a few days, actually. Of course, by the time this video goes up, it'll probably be after the 1st. So the trial will have already began. I'm just curious to see how this is all going to how this is going to go, how all of this is going to play out. Of course, many people are going to be watching this with a very close eye. I don't know how much I'm going to actually follow this, but if there's something out there that is of interest that should be mentioned, I will definitely put something out there. But my thing is, what's the verdict going to be? And if he is found guilty, what is that sentencing going to look like? Now, like I said, the prosecutors are going to have to pull a rabbit out of their hat in order to find Kyle Rittenhouse guilty, since the judge ruled that they cannot use the words victim. And the prosecutor was right. The judge says that calling them victims is loaded, but he says they can be called arsonists, rioters, and looters. And that's just as loaded, if not more, than victim. He said, this is what we can call them. Don't call them this, let's call them this. So he basically took one label away from them to rebound and give them 3 additional labels that most likely wouldn't even apply. Like I told you, there are rare instances where white people will get on cold with white people against other white people. But like I said, the link to all of this happening is because of Jacob Blake's shooting that happened last year. That's the link. So like I said before, when black people ask, oh, black people have nothing to do with this, y'all forget how all of this got started. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments.